Planning Analytics Deep Dive. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk to you about integrating Salesforce with IBM Planning Analytics. If you haven't guessed, we're going to be using TM1 Pi for this integration. And if you'd like to write the scripts yourself, we've linked to a Cubewise blog in the description for this video. But today, I'm actually excited to talk to you about Atmosphere, which is a new solution offered by Cubewise that allows you to harness all the power of TM1 Pi without having to write or maintain any of the scripts. So it's really useful for organizations who may not have the bandwidth or the experience yet with TM1 Pi, but still want to get all the goodness that TM1 Pi offers. So today, I want to start with giving a little overview of Atmosphere and its capabilities. All right, so what is Atmosphere, right? Atmosphere is a suite of pre-built, ready-to-use, extremely versatile TM1 Pi functions that are hosted by Cubewise, running on AWS infrastructure that are invoked actually from Turbo Integrator processes. So it makes it extremely easy for TM1 users to run these. And I'm highlighting a few of the capabilities here on the screen. There's more to it than this, but I want to focus just on these four for this discussion today. So integrations first, right? So that's connecting to your ERP systems, cloud, on-premise, doesn't matter, right? Your HR systems, your data warehouse, web APIs if you want to get foreign exchange data or economic indicators data. So essentially connecting IBM Planning Analytics to the universe of data that's out there, your data or external data. Data synchronization is the next item on the screen here. That's synchronizing data between all of your TM1 environments. So your dev, your test, your prod, your multiple instances of production, potentially, depending on your setup. The calculation engine. So this is for financial calculations that are just not well suited for TM1 rules or Turbo Integrator, things like IRR or NPV, those types of things that are done very easily with TM1 Pi. The fourth capability that I have on here is report distribution. So automating the bursting and distribution of Excel or PDF reports directly from Planning Analytics to your end users. That's extremely powerful. There are other capabilities that I'm not even showing on the screen here. Predictive forecasting is one that we just released recently. So I'll make sure to do some other Planning Analytics deep dive videos highlighting all of these other capabilities. But today we're going to focus on the integrations and specifically integrating with Salesforce. All right, so we've got three ways to get data from Salesforce to Planning Analytics, directly to a cube, directly to a dimension, or to a file that you can then use in a Turbo Integrator process. What we're going to do today is we're going to update a contracts dimension, including its attributes, and we'll load a file as well, and we'll load data from that cube, the attributes cube, back into Salesforce. So first, we're going to get our contracts here from Salesforce, these contracts, to update this dimension. So I'll run the first process. This is the Atmosphere run Salesforce to TM1 metadata that's going to update the dimension and its attributes. Takes a few parameters. So it takes the name of your TM1 connection. This is how we can, connect to Atmosphere, and, Atmosphere's got your TM1 credentials as well as the credentials for Salesforce. So we've got our name of our Salesforce connection there as our second parameter. Then we have our SOQL query to go to Salesforce, the contracts object. You can see the full query there. We're going to get some fields. Some of them are custom fields. So we're going to do some mapping in the next parameter to map some of our custom fields to friendly or named attributes. And then there's a couple other parameters as well to unwind the dimension. This is the name of the dimension that we're updating, and whether or not we're going to log any errors to a file. So we'll go ahead and run this. All right, now we can see our Planning Analytics dimension is updated. We've got our somewhat unfriendly Salesforce codes here as our principal element names, and then our friendlier attributes that were updated from our Salesforce fields and custom fields. So that's step one, update Planning Analytics dimension from Salesforce. We can also take that same query and dump that to a flat file on the TM1 server. So I'm going to run the second process here, asking for the same connections, the TM1 and Salesforce connections, using the same SOQL query here, and then providing a name for the CSV file. So I'll go ahead and run that process. while that's running, I'll also go ahead and update a data point in the cube, and then we're going to load that data back to Salesforce. So I'll use just the last contract here, this Infosys contract, and I'll just change the value from 500K to 800K, significant bump up. And we'll go ahead and run the final process here. So also asking for your TM1 and Salesforce connections. This one's then asking for which Salesforce object or Salesforce entity we're going to be updating, and that is the contract entity. We're going to be using the element attributes Salesforce contract for our source cube, default view in this case. And then there's some other optional parameters. We're mapping back, for example, our attributes to our custom fields and a couple other things. All right, so go ahead and update this. And while that's running, we can take a look in Arc, and we should be able to see I'm just searching here. You can tell for Atmosphere. It's the name of the file. So there's just a preview of what that flat file looks like. And obviously, we could use that as a data source for a turbo integrator process to update that dimension that way. It looks like our final process is completed here. So if I jump back over to Salesforce and I refresh this screen, we can see that now our contract has been updated in Salesforce as well. So you can take data from Planning Analytics and update the other direction. All right, so that was our quick example of integrating Salesforce with IBM Planning Analytics to a dimension, cube, and file, and from Planning Analytics back to Salesforce. Thank you for joining this Planning Analytics deep dive, where we explored how to integrate Salesforce with IBM Planning Analytics using Atmosphere. We hope you found it useful, and we'll see you next time. Until then, do good, TM1.